VikesNow. I am Dustin Baker. We have a show about the 5-0 Vikings. During the summer, nobody entertained that the team would be 5-0, and we are almost done with the toughest part of the Viking schedule. In 2 weeks, we'll have kind of the crescendo of that, and then it's not necessarily smooth sailing, but the competition lightens, at least for how those teams look right now. So we are going to go with reactions to the win over the Jets in London, 23-17. We have Eric Horstman, who's on about once a month, once every 6 weeks or so. Sir, you're going to go first so we don't steal all of your takes. I want to know your reaction. Go as long as you would like about the Vikings dub in London, their 5th in franchise history.
All right. First thought, win's a win. Kind of a overall just reaction to how it ended up. Loved the first quarter, first half, I suppose. Trying to stay positive. Seeing some things creep back in that you don't love. Kind of PTSD of a few other seasons there, but hey, Jets still have a good defense, right? Like we're not going to be awesome 100% of the time. So the fact that they can get out to these big leads, have the defense hold finally for once, pretty cool. It's like if you just give them enough, you still have quite a bit of confidence that they're going to get it done overall. Make big plays when it's absolutely necessary. I feel like Sam had some really good throws there. That final drive, couldn't get a touchdown, but still got some points. So I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm gonna hopefully just leave it at, weird travel, London, still a good defense in the Jets. Um, Defense kind of woke back up after last week. So hopefully the offense can kind of repeat that against the Lions here in a couple weeks. So overall, not their best game, but if you can get away with not playing your best game, still beat a pretty decent team, especially being in a kind of weird environment with a weird schedule, I'm all for it.
Yeah, this felt to me like watching it on my couch. It felt so similar to the game last week, but I just didn't quite feel as anxietal because melting down 28-0 to the Packers is a little bit different than melting down 17-0 to the Jets. We would have been like the Falcons memes all over again if we had lost 28-0 to the Packers. So, and I feel like we're playing with house money. So if they had, I thought they were going to lose to the Jets, in fact, and they didn't. So it was weird how both games were like the Spider-Man meme. Dakota, welcome back. Good to see you. We talked to you last week and you were the queen of positivity. I bet you're the same again. Let's hear it.
What? Me being predictable? Never. I'm glad that you were able to watch the game from the comfort of your couch. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I was up north by Mammoth Mountain, California, where if you have T-Mobile, you have no service. And so I was watching the game with minimal phone battery, driving down the Sierra Nevada, watching it on my phone, losing service, but I was able to watch most of the game. And I think a lot of the same concerns that I had last week still stick around this week. I worry about our ability to conserve energy, and in that I worry about us being so conservative in the second half. There were multiple times throughout the first half and even a little bit in the third quarter where Kevin O'Connell had called these really interesting plays that I'm assuming that he had drawn up, where the one that comes to mind is a ball that ended up in Jefferson's hands where two of the defenders collided into one another because of the routes that he and Addison ran. And, as the second quarter continued, I just kept wondering, where did these plays go? They were so prevalent in the first quarter, in the first half, that we were able to get Justin Jefferson 94 yards. But I think they ended up saying that in total in the second half, he maybe touched the ball once or twice. Mm-hmm. And so I think, alongside being able to conserve energy, we also need to continue to be creative, have these creative plays, and not be as conservative in the second half. You've already outscored them however many points by this moment. You don't need to downplay yourselves just because you got the lead. And maybe it comes from a fact that last season and the season before that, we never really led. We almost always were playing the comeback game. And so maybe it's just during the bye, we sit and we reevaluate how exactly do we not only keep a lead, but convincingly keep a lead and continue to be able to have Justin Jefferson touch the ball, get Addison the ball, and, maybe alleviate some of the pressure in the run game off of Aaron Jones. I've been a huge Ty Chandler fan, but today really just disappointed me. I'm glad going out of the bye into Lions week 7, we will have TJ Hawkinson back, and it is sounding like Aaron Jones should be good to go against the Lions. It sounds like we were able to avoid anything major happening, but I don't know. I want to stay the queen of positivity that everyone knows that I am, but that Vikings fan, when does the second shoe drop? Part of me is like, if we don't address these during the bye, that second shoe will drop during the Lions. I had us going into the bye at 4-1 with our first loss against the Texans. So we're coming up on what I would have called our second loss had the season gone the way that I predicted it. Yeah, I just also wanted to say that our kicker did all of that with 4 hours of sleep. If he can do that on 4 hours of sleep, why can't I teach an entire second grade class on 4 hours of sleep? But that's a conversation for another day.
You need some of that Will Reichert voodoo up
I know.
in your business. We have talking about playing with a lead. The Vikings haven't been a franchise that's consistently played with a lead since like the 2019 season, and even that season they weren't utter gangbusters. They were just ahead more frequently, kind of the last good Zimmer season. So yeah, this is a brand new, we're learning how to do this again as fans. And then of course, as the team. Brevin, you're up. Your blank canvas to react to Vikings over Jets.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of in the same camp as Eric and I guess Dakota too, to where I'm like, all right, the concern flag is starting to wave a little bit, and it's just because the last 6 quarters of offense have not been good, and it's only frustrating because of how good all of the quarters before the last 6 quarters of offense were, and just how efficient we saw the offense be the first couple games of the year before these last 6 quarters. I mean, just if you did some absolute nerd cake unemployed stuff and like divided the number of plays divided by their total points, I'm sure they would have been first in the NFL in that. But I don't know. Like a win's a win, and I wanna say, hey, we're 5-0. Hey, we've only been trailing for 3 minutes this year, and it was in the first 5 minutes of the season. So I try to think back to early September and really all off season, me and most of us for that matter, and being like, hey, we're probably going to be 2-3, 1-4 at this time. So if you told past me, like, hey, we're going to be 5-0, and we will only have been trailing for the first 3 minutes, and it would be in the first 5 minutes of your season. And I saw me from the past, me being negative, you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Sorry for the fuck. But it's so frustrating, and the season is just a foul beast, and it makes you think things that you think you shouldn't be thinking. But the last 6 quarters, I mean, the last 2 games, it seems like we're starting a trend here. Like last week, it was 28 points. This week is 17 points. It's like the offense is like, all right, defense, we just scored 28 points. Go do something about it. We're taking off. This week is, hey, defense, we just scored 17 points. Go do something about it. We're taking off. And it's like they're playing a game, and you can spin zone all of this into this defense is damn good. I love this defense. This defense rocks. But the offense disappearing a little bit, and I mentioned to Jason, because we just did Social Network that just came out like an hour or two ago. Go watch it if you haven't. Lost my train of thought. I am now happy that we're going into the bye week. Like, I hate the early bye week. Of course, I understand why after London this time, but I'm happy now. Kevin O'Connell can maybe do some self-reflection, if it's him, if it's execution, if it's whatnot, going into the bye week. And then I'm only so adamant on like offense figure it out because you've got Detroit coming out of the bye week. And this is I don't want to say this is where we find out who the Vikings are, because truthfully, I think they have already shown that. And even if they lose to Detroit, they're still one of the better teams in the NFL. And all at the same time, I'm like, well, it was London. It's weird. They still didn't trail at all in the game. We knew the Jets game was going to be kind of ugly. They can't blow everybody out. You got to win these one possession games and keep your cool. So that's my long-winded reaction. Short-winded reaction would be go Vikings 5-0. Please score more points. Please stop disappearing in the second half.
So when
Put
they
that on
have
a sticker.
when they have like those droughts and they disappeared and they ended up winning, I think it depends on how you view the team versus the summer versus now, or your expectations in general. Because right now, I am content with them winning ugly in the second half because I still, in my head, think of them as the team that was going to go 7-10. I know they have the stats and the balance of a Super Bowl contender, but I'm not going to go to bed tonight and be like, this is the year they're going to win the Super Bowl. I just don't feel that because I feel like, oh boy, I feel like they're overachieving, and that's okay. This is supposed to be their flyover season to get to 2025 with the rookie quarterback and all that. So, when I got off the couch, I was like, sweet, 5-0. But maybe if they run this thing to 7-0, 8-0, then I need to retire my 7-10 brain and be like, all right, well, they got to win convincingly now. So I think it's whether or not you want them, or you believe that they're really going to win a Super Bowl this year, or if you're just elated over the moon that they're 5-0 through the rough patch of the schedule. Another thing that I've been trying to digest is Sam Darnold today wasn't good, but that is okay. Like, he was not going to be a badass every single game. Josh Allen today went 9 for 30 and looked like an imbecile at times. And I don't think anybody in Buffalo is like, I don't know, is this going to keep going? No. Quarterbacks have bad games. And if we look back on this in January, we're going to be like, yeah, remember that one game where Darnold played against the Jets defense? That was a shitty game. That's what the Jets defense does. So I don't have any apprehension about Darnold shaking it off and coming back strong. Will Reichert was absolutely the MVP of the game. I can't believe it, but we are at a point where when he's up to kick, I tell my wife, this is going to be just fine. And normally I look at her and go, oh, here we go. And that's not how I feel. Now, he's going to miss a field goal. That's fine, too. That's like, this is what guys do. But right now, he's been cold-blooded when we need him the most. And then my next thing I want to ask you guys about, it's Aaron Jones. This offense died and went to hell the moment he hurt his hip. And I think a lot of the shit that they have done on offense is propped up by him or the threat of him. And it's really scary that they went back to the Madison style of football when one player went out. So I want to ask you, Eric, on the spot, although Jones will be, first of all, we shouldn't be shocked one iota that A, running back is hurt, or B, the 29-year-old running back is hurt. This was going to happen. Just like one of the cornerbacks is going to get hurt soon because they always get hurt. Do the Vikings need a contingency plan for Aaron Jones, like Latavius Murray, or sending a 6th rounder somewhere for a different backup?
Oh man. I just don't know if whoever you get for that sort of pick, or, guy off the street at this point, is going to be better than Ty Chandler. And again, he didn't have a great game. My goodness. Game today either. But again, Jets defense still not the worst defense we're going to face all year. So I think they should just kind of stay put with what they have.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know that, getting in, or maybe sign somebody off of a practice squad, but I just don't think there's going to be any kind of middle to top-ish tier running back that's, gonna be up to a healthy Aaron Jones's level. That would be worth giving up, like I said, maybe more than a 5th rounder at best. But again, that's going to have to be in like 2 years because we pretty much have nothing for next year. So I don't know. I think they should just stay put, rest him a few games, even if he's not back for Detroit. Sit him one more game to make sure he's like really good to go, and just kind of see what happens. But hopefully, like I said, avoided anything major here, and it's not going to be an issue going forward. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Hard
the
to say.
Jets defense, the Vikings, the way things stand right now statistically, the only other defenses that the Vikings will see that are this good are the Bears twice. Believe it or not, their defense is cooking, and then somehow the Titans are like a tight top 8 defense, but nobody cares because they aren't good.
Yeah,
But
well,
that
when we
defense,
trade for Jeffrey Simmons, they won't be 8 anymore. We'll get it. So they'll
yes.
fall off a little bit.
So what we've already seen between the 49ers and Texans, who they had no problems with, the hard defenses should be kind of over. The Lions defense isn't lovely. And this Jets one, the secondary is just so damn good that I think that's what really can just mess things up in general. Dakota, do we need a contingency plan for Aaron Jones, or is it just the Jets defense got the best of us on a single Sunday? Kind of.
I don't think it's so much that the Jets defense got the best of us, more so that the refs just need to get their prescriptions checked. I think I tweeted out at one point, and again, I had spotty to minimal service at best, but there were multiple times where I was just like, I can see that, and my phone is currently running one whole pixel for this game. Why don't the refs see what I'm seeing, But I agree with Eric. It's kind of similar to what I said earlier. Kevin O'Connell said in his presser today that it seems like they caught Aaron Jones right before something majorly awful could happen, that they have high expectations for him to be back at the Lions. I wouldn't be mad at him sitting out for the Lions anyway. We have seen what that defense can do to players, TJ Hawkinson. And so I wouldn't be upset at him sitting out for that game. I mean, when you consider how early in the season it is and the way that this team is playing, they, in my opinion, should be thinking playoffs. They should be thinking playoffs already. And so they should probably sit him for the Lions game, especially because we do have TJ Hawkinson, speaking of coming back. We do have all of these potential offensive weapons coming back that should alleviate some of the pressure off of him. And now I've been an avid fan of Ty Chandler. I don't know, as I nicknamed him Miss Shenandler Bong. Shout out to all you Friends fans out there. I wonder if this was just a fluke game because it was London, because I feel like we've seen him perform fairly well in the past. So I don't think that we should send what little rounds that we have anywhere. I think it's just a matter of playing smart and utilizing the weapons that we have, so that way Aaron Jones takes the time to properly be in his body, and that way he can be back for the Rams game week 8.
The one thing that keeps creeping back into my mind about this team being 5-0, first of all, it's going to take an utter collapse to not get into the postseason. I know we've seen that before, but it would be really odd for that to happen again to the Vikings. But the NFC is really, really winnable. The Eagles are discombobulated. The 49ers are 2-3. We've already beat the Packers. The path, the Commanders are 3-1 or 4-1, but is anybody really scared of the Commanders? Their defense sucks. So if this Vikings team can remain consistent and get better, my goodness, the NFC is weirdly winnable because the Niners are mortal and the Eagles. So keep that in mind going into the bye week. Brevin, what about running back? Are we too Aaron Jones dependent?
Yeah, and I would actually go against the idea that we shouldn't sign somebody. I don't want to trade for somebody, and I'm not just saying it to bring him home because he's a former Viking, but I would love to see Jerick McKinnon in this offense. He's proven recently he can still be effective. He'd be a perfect utility back for Sam Darnold to check down to. He can still run the ball. I am not at all of the belief system that Ty Chandler can be a running back one, even for a short stint. I defended Ty Chandler a lot. And maybe I think a lot of us got caught up in that, he's not Alex Madison. So if you look at Ty Chandler, he's averaging 4.2 yards for the season. Looking at his game log, Giants 2.13, Texans 1.86, Packers 1.67. Today was 2 point something. 49ers 8.2 yards with a long carry of I don't know how much because I don't see it on here. So, and just eye test, I'm a strong believer in eye test. Ty Chandler just does not have burst. If there's a wide open hole to run through, he will hit that hole like it's his job, because it is. He's an NFL running back. But if there's something, it's I don't know if you guys remember watching Le'Veon Bell play running back. He was super patient, and he would always make the right decision.
So awesome.
It was so great to watch as a pure football fan. Get this rock, yeah, football. But imagine Le'Veon Bell patience, and then he doesn't do anything. That's watching Ty Chandler. So I'm a Ty Chandler defender. I was last year, but mostly in the conversation of Ty Chandler versus Alex Madison. As far as Ty Chandler, say Aaron Jones is out 2 or 3 games, I don't want any part, honestly, of Ty Chandler being the lead back because it's obvious the Vikings didn't trust him to do that this offseason, or he would be the lead back right now. So I would be pretty against it. I would be all for going out, picking up a Jerick McKinnon off the couch, a Matt Breida, somebody like that. What's Adrian doing right now?
I know he needs the money, that's
He
for
needs
sure.
the money, yeah.
God, no.
So I know we are still 3-4 months away from draft season, but I expect the Vikings to trade their first pick no matter what to accumulate more capital. We'll probably have a running back on the brain, even if Aaron Jones resigns, because those guys are gettable pretty easily in the draft. And I think we've all learned, whether it's Aaron Jones or 22-year-old running back who's coming into the 2025 NFL draft, this offense is different when a running back keeps the rest of the enterprise honest. All right, Eric, give me a 90-second speech about what's on your mind going into this bye week, whether it's an injury, whether it's a free agent, whether it's the Super Bowl. Hit me with it.
Yeah. So my mind's kind of almost solely focused on the trade market at this point. I know Jeffrey Simmons, whether it's Dexter Lawrence, I mean, right, these are probably all not realistic, but I don't give a damn. I want one of those dudes in this defense. Trade the first round pick next year. It's going to be late 20s, hopefully 32 even. Go get somebody, like, just make this defense just just game wreckers at every spot. So I really hope that's on their mind as well. Obviously, they wanted Christian Wilkins in the offseason and just didn't have the resources to kind of close that deal. But just go out and get somebody, just a monster for the defense, see what happens. Other than that, though, I mean, obviously the Aaron Jones thing is concerning. Was expected him to get hurt, just maybe not quite so early. Was hoping it was maybe later in the season, just from wear and tear. But so I guess that's kind of new on my mind. I'm gonna try not to dwell on that too much, though. Hopefully they'll be all right. TJ coming back, I think is going to be a big help. Like, obviously the offense is different with Johnny Munt or Josh Oliver. Like, those dudes, you don't feature those guys, right? You can feature TJ Hawkinson. I'm really excited for him to be back. I think it's, talk about Sam Darnold's next, best friend, I think, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe 5-0. Did not see that coming at all. I was kind of on the same thinking as you, Dustin, like 7-10, maybe 8-9, and now they set the bar so freaking high that I'm like, well,
you can't have that record now.
No. I almost feel like it's like NFC Championship game or bust at this point. They really should have just eased into this start of the season. Yeah, I mean, overall, feel really great about this team. And every press conference, it seems like whoever it is, they just keep saying like there's something special about them, and so far I believe it. Until they give me a reason, not to. I'm just gonna keep enjoying this every win possible, and hopefully I'll be up for the Lions game. So hopefully get to see one in person. So pumped for that.
They what I'll be watching here is Aaron Jones' injury status. His injury really happened at the perfect time because he's got a week off to heal, and the Vikings won anyway, even though the offense looked like shit without him. Jordan Addison's court date is tomorrow. I don't know how fast suspensions happen, but between Aaron Jones maybe missing a game, if Addison's suspension came down and Hawkinson's not ready, you'd have a Lions game that was Justin Jefferson and the fellas. There'd be like no other playmakers. That's the doomsday scenario. So I'll be watching the Addison news, the Hawkinson return to health. Before it became common news, one of my people told me that Hawkinson was targeting the Los Angeles game for the return. Hopefully that was wrong and he comes back sooner. But yeah, I hope that Addison's suspension wouldn't hit that soon, because you'd be looking at the Lions with no Aaron Jones, possibly no Hawkinson, no Addison. Yuck, because that place is going to be electric, and we want them to certainly win that game against the Lions. Coda, 90 seconds. What's on your mind going into the bye week?
Going into the bye week, I really want them to sit down and I want them to come up with more creative plays to be able to get Justin Jefferson the ball. Like I said, that one play where they had the two defenders running into each other was beautiful. It was poetry. Give me more. It was very mindful, very cutesy, very demure. Give me more. I also want them to just kind of like sit with themselves, maybe sit with the offensive line, maybe sit with the wide receiver core and be like, where can we be better? Where can we adjust? Where can we I wouldn't be mad at them going out, like Eric said, trying to fill some holes in the defense. Our secondary definitely still leaves a lot to be lusted over, to be valued over. I don't remember the word for it. And just ultimately, I just want them to take this bye to really self-reflect. You know, we're 5-0 going into the bye. Most people didn't expect us to even be 4-1 unless you're me, and I have the record to prove it right in front of me. But I just want them to self-reflect, and I also want them to take the time to just like chill, calm down. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, the NFL season is only 18 weeks, but it's a very, very long 18 weeks. I love that they go into every single game thinking this is the game we have to win, this is the game that we have to win, but they need to slow it down. And I think when we slow down, we take a deep breath, that's when we play our best football. So to kind of summarize, take a deep breath, calm down, self-reflect, come up with more creative plays to get Justin Jefferson the ball, and maybe look at, you know, filling some holes on the defense. And listen, if Hawkinson decides to come back at the LA game, I wouldn't be mind bearing witness to him coming back. That would be a very fun thing to watch in LA.
Yep, and it'll be Kevin O'Connell versus his old boss. What is that, 3 weeks away? 3.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that.
Totally not counting the days at all.
Brev, last word from you. What are you thinking about for the bye week?
Man, I don't know. Probably some Chipotle or something.
Speaking my language.
Unlike Dakota, I will not be lusting over the Vikings secondary. I will probably, I don't know, like figure it out in the second half offensively. I hope Kevin O'Connell does a lot of soul searching. I had a couple things that I was thinking of that I just completely forgot in the moment I said Chipotle. Maybe I will look inward and advise people to not gamble on the NFL passing touchdown leader to throw one touchdown, and I guess rather maybe bet on Andrew Van Ginkel scoring a touchdown or CJ Ham having his second rushing touchdown in 5 or 6 years. That would be cool. And then, yeah, I hope Will Reichert has a really good week. I hope that Caleb Evans has an awful bye week. And TJ Hawkinson coming back should be cool. I don't know how much it's going to like propel the offense, more just be another weapon. Like it's not going to hurt the offense being there, but we've seen what the offense already is. I don't think adding Hawkinson into it is going to like, but it's just nice to have another weapon because we love Johnny Munt, pro Johnny Munt product here at VikesNow, but not really the threat. So I'll be excited for him to come back. Hopefully he has a good bye week. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see the Panthers somehow lose to their bye week. If their bye week is next week. I forgot everybody has a different bye week. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't all have the same bye week.
Yeah.
And the Panthers, I don't think, have a bye week next week. I think the Hawkinson thing, he'll make it so that if a guy like Aaron Jones is hurt during a game, it's not like, oh, God. Because throughout that second half, when you just knew that they weren't going to convert because that's the way it was going, you were looking for some alternative option in the middle of the field because clearly DJ Reed and some of Sauce Gardner was taking care of it when they weren't being handsy. And I kept thinking, well, Hawkinson will be the elixir to Aaron Jones being hurt. So that's my high hope that if he comes back and if they are, 2 ships passing in the night and Jones has to miss a game, or Jones will probably get hurt again this season. That's what happens to old running backs, that a healthy Hawkinson can make it so that we don't just like, all right, well, defense, you got to win this thing because we clearly can't do anything. And
the good thing about Hawkinson being back is if Ty Chandler keeps playing the way he's playing, you might as well just give the ball to Hawkinson in the backfield too.
Well, we could do those tight end screens.
Why not?
Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
One
era.
of them worked last week. We forgot to talk about that, Brev. There was I think it was a Josh Oliver tight end screen that got like 8 or 9 yards, and we were like, boom, it worked. All right, panel. The 5-0 Vikings. Gosh, they 2 weeks from today they take on the Lions, who I got to look at their schedule next week. I don't know who they play, but they will probably be what?
They've got Dallas.
Ooh, okay. Well, maybe they'll be 2 games back, but that place is going to be hopping. So, Eric, you picked a wonderful game to plan to go to, even though we thought they were going to be like 1-4,
right?
When you got the tickets. All right, guys, you guys have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you throughout the week. Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Eric.
See you guys.
Take it
Thank
easy.
you. You too.